Love found in a coffee shop. Sometimes the most unexpected places are where we find the most important things in life. We tend to think love will come in grand, dramatic ways, through sweeping gestures or life-changing moments. But sometimes, love arrives in the most mundane places, in the quiet corners of our lives where we least expect it. For me, it came in the form of a coffee shop. It wasn't the first time I had been to this coffee shop. In fact, I had been there countless times before alone, with friends, with coworkers. It was just another cafe, nothing special, tucked into a corner of the city where people came and went without much thought. But one morning, everything changed. I walked into the coffee shop like I had so many times before. The familiar scent of freshly ground coffee beans filled the air. The sound of milk steaming and espresso shots being pulled in the background was comforting. I ordered my usual a simple black coffee and sat at a table by the window, lost in my thoughts, preparing for the busy day ahead. And that's when I saw him. He was sitting at the counter, reading a book, completely absorbed in the pages. There was something so peaceful about him, so present, so quiet, yet so grounded. He wasn't trying to get anyone's attention, wasn't looking for anything. He was just there, enjoying the simplicity of the moment. I didn't think much of it at first. I wasn't looking for love, wasn't thinking about meeting anyone new. But there was something about the way he looked at me when I caught his eye, something that made me pause. It wasn't a romantic gaze or anything overt, just a simple soft glance that made me feel like I mattered for that brief second. I went back to my coffee, back to my book. But I couldn't help but feel the connection between us. It wasn't obvious, it wasn't loud, but it was there. It was in the way our eyes met every now and then, and the small smile he gave me as he got up to leave. And in that fleeting moment, I knew something had changed. The next day I went back to the same coffee shop, not expecting to see him again. But when I walked in, there he was, sitting in the same spot, reading the same book. It felt like a sign, like the universe was telling me to pay attention. We talked that day, just casual conversation. Nothing deep, but it felt easy, comfortable. We shared our names, our favorite books, and the usual small talk that felt like the beginning of something. And before I knew it, I found myself looking forward to seeing him every time I went to the coffee shop. It wasn't about the coffee or the quiet ambience anymore. It was about him. We started meeting there regularly, slowly building something without realizing it. There were no grand confessions, no dramatic moments, just two people meeting over coffee, talking about life, about everything and nothing. But in those moments, I felt something real forming, something steady and true, something that didn't need to be rushed or forced. It was simple, but it was perfect in its simplicity. Love doesn't always have to be complicated or dramatic. Sometimes, it's the quiet moments between two people who understand each other without saying a word. It's in the shared laughter or something silly, the comfortable silences, the way someone makes you feel without having to try. And so it grew quietly in that coffee shop. Love that didn't need grand gestures, love that didn't need to be shouted out loud. It was the kind of love that existed in the small moments, the unspoken connections, and the simple acts of kindness that we shared over coffee. Looking back, I realized that love often comes when we least expect it. It comes in the quiet, ordinary places, in the moments when we're not looking for it. It comes in the coffee shop, over a cup of coffee, when two people take the time to see each other for who they truly are. And sometimes, that's all it takes for love to bloom. I'm Lucy, and this is Unsaid Love.